Hi, this is Diane Zimmerman with Watercolor Beginners and Beyond, and today's tutorial is about how to leverage some of the technology out there. I have an iPad, iPhone, all these apps. I believe most of them are available for Android as well. There's just so much you can do to help plan a painting, help with composition, help with values, help with design, and just some inspiration. It's just a lot of fun to play with these apps and see what it may spark you to paint. So let's get started. So here are some of the apps that you can use to help visualize a painting, where you can import a photograph and manipulate it, add some things, do some things with it. It's really, really cool. And today I'm going to first show you kind of a high level on some of these apps, and then I'm going to open up and actually show you how to use the apps. I'm going to show Notenizer, Prisma, Waterlog, Colorscape, and Oilist. Now, how much do these apps cost? I can't remember. I think some are free. I think the most expensive one would be Prisma. I think it has an annual fee that can be cheaper than paying monthly. But I think most of these will have, if they do cost, most of them will have a free 7-day trial so that you can see if, hey, do I really want to pay for this? Okay, the first one I want to highlight is Waterlog. And this is an app where you can import a photograph, which is here. And I took this photograph at a studio in somewhere in France. I can't remember the name of the town. And even if I remembered the name of the town, I wouldn't be able to pronounce it. But this was supposedly a studio where Van Gogh would go to paint. And they still had some still life setups in the studio, which when I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to paint this. So what I did is I imported the photograph into Waterlog, and I'll show you later how that works. But you can select several different styles of output here. So I decided I kind of liked that. It's kind of a line and wash. And so I did the painting, not quite like it, but pretty similar. It just gave me an idea of how I wanted it to look. Really enjoyed painting this. I think I've painted this about 5 times. One of my favorite apps is the Notenizer, and what that does is you import a photograph and it converts it to values. From 2 values up to 10 values. So I wanted to paint Niagara Falls. This is a picture I took when I was there once on business. I've never been there for pleasure. And so you see it I converted this to 4 values just to kind of just play around with how I wanted to paint it, making sure that I had the values right. And this is a black and white photograph of my painting that I did. And here's my painting. It's not very big. It's also a really good idea when you're working on a painting midway through or whatever, to take a picture of it and convert it to black and white and compare it to black and white photograph or a notan of it, just to see, are you in the right direction of the values? Are your dark values dark enough? Do you have enough midtones? Do you have enough light? Is it a balanced painting based on what your photograph was? And when I converted this to black and white, it did pretty good. I could have made this a little bit wider in here. I kind of got crazy there with the wet on wet. And another thing, this is just huge. I love doing pop art. Obviously, this is not a copyright-free photograph, and a lot that I do, they're not copyright-free, so I can't sell them, and I don't. I just hang them up on my wall and keep them in my art book. But this is such a great way to do a photograph. I'm sorry, a portrait. So you take a photo, you import the photo. I converted this to 2 values, so just black and white. That's it. And then this was my painting. And I want to share a few paintings I've done with this. So I love Breakfast at Tiffany's with Audrey Hepburn. I've got one of my favorite musicians, Elton John. I just love that. Elvis. If you get a chance to see the recent Elvis movie, it is really super awesome. And then to get really glamorous, I did Marilyn Monroe. So a lot of people have asked me how I get these backgrounds so smooth and consistent on these pop art paintings that I do. And it's really pretty simple. I'm not like a super great artist to be able to do such smooth backgrounds. I use Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus liquid watercolor. And of course I used it here in, I don't know what color it was, red, then I used black. And I pour a little bit in a bowl and I just work with it full strength, non-diluted. And then I've got the consistent color for the entire background. I can't mix up paint as smooth as what this is. So it makes the perfect smooth background. And on this, I used it for Elvis here and for Elton. So moving along for the glamour people here, we've got your own Fee Elizabeth, one of the moderators, and me and Laura Berg. So here we are. On all 3 of these, I selected 3 values. It was white, and then a mid value, and then the black. And I quickly was able to do these sketches. I used a Tombow brush pen, which is water soluble, which is really cool because you can just make some marks, take a damp brush, kind of smear it around, and then you're done. Very, very easy. Now, when I first started using the Notenizer app, I would print it out, and then I actually would trace the shapes. It's really easy to do. If you can see that you can just trace these shapes, fill in the shapes. It's almost like coloring in a coloring book. But now I've practiced a lot with drawing and sketching and really trying to improve my drawing skills. So now I'll just do the Notenizer and then just look at it and do my own sketch from it. It may not be perfect, but hey, I'm getting there. Practice really does pay off. I didn't think I could ever draw. And here are some apps that I use for outlines, and I'm going to show you how I use Colorscape, PhotoSketch, and Trace Table. But I'm going to show you here what I produced from PhotoSketch. So I imported this photo. This is from Chapel on the Dunes in Port Aransas, Texas. It's such a beautiful place. This was a perfect picture too, perfect time of day. And I converted it to an outline with PhotoSketch because I thought, I think I want to do this in a line and wash technique. And so I took the outline. I did trace this one. And I took my permanent ink, something that wasn't going to smear, that's really important, and I traced some of the ink, some of the outline. I left this pretty much open because I wanted a resting spot in the painting. I didn't want it to be, I thought this was just, it'd be too much ink, it's just too much. So I did it like this, and I was really pleased with it. This was one of the first paintings that I did where I thought, oh my gosh, I think I'm becoming an artist. I think it's happening. All this practice is paying off. So I'm very proud of this painting. And then if you've seen me posting paintings in the watercolor group, you'll see that I'm going to take a painting and I could do it 3, 4, 5 different ways. That's just how I am. That's how I learn. I want to try every different way possible just to see how it might look. So I did the same scene, but I did it in a little more loose. And I really like this one as well. I'm not quite sure which one I like best. You can choose that. But the PhotoSketch really does a great job with that. So let's get to looking at the apps. So I want to start with the Noten. Notenizer. So when you open it up, it defaults to Notan. You can change it to black and white photo. You can see your original photo. You can select 3 levels, 4 levels, and over here you can increase the levels up to 10. So let me import a photo here. So it defaults to Notan. So down here at the bottom, this little slide control, you can slide it up and down however you want. This is just 2 values. It's black and white. I usually, for the pop art, I usually do 3 values just to get it a little bit easier, at least for me, easier to paint. So that's how I did. Gotta find it here. That's how I did this one. I did 3 values. And then I took the Tombow marker and sketched it out and used a water brush to smear the ink. It's a lot of fun to play with. You can, like I said, you could add more values here. I've got 4. The more values you add, levels I think they call it, the more levels you add, the more photorealistic it's going to get. So let's just see what happens. So I'm going to, it's 5 levels, it's 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So it's getting very photorealistic here. You can also zoom in on this. Wow, I look pretty hideous there. But let's just look at the eye. You can zoom in and really look at the different values in an eye. And if you're doing portraits, this is a good way of looking at this in monochrome and figuring out where your darkest values need to be. Obviously, there's a little dark black at the bottom of the eye here, obviously the eyelashes. It is very, very helpful. So let me do another one with the Notenizer. Let's see what I want to do. Oh, let's do Cucumber. She's so cute. Okay, I have so many paintings of her. So this is the Notan, just black and white. You can slide this down. This would actually make a pretty good painting here with just the black and white. It would be really stunning. So let's give it 3 values. Let's get some more white in here. Increase that. And really check out that eye. It really simplifies these details. The eyes, the nose. It really is helpful. To me, it's easier to paint in monochrome than it is to add color. That's why I do a lot of monochrome portraits. It's so much easier. I just have to focus on the shape and the values. That's all I have to worry about. When you add color and trying to match skin tones, that's when I'm like, ah. Okay, let's add 4 values here. And that's looking a little more photorealistic. Let's take some of that away. You just play around. So if you find, okay, let's say this is what I want to use as my reference for a painting to either trace or whatever. You just click on this forward button and do save image, and it goes into your camera roll. I don't know how it works on Android, but this is how it works on iOS. Okay, Notenizer, like I said, one of my favorite apps. I use it all the time, even for landscapes. Let me show you that. Let's see. This is in Amsterdam. I mean, wouldn't that make a beautiful ink sketch here with just ink and that's it? It would really be pretty. You add some more values in here. Oops. This will help you if you actually were going to do this in color. It would help you that you need to make sure where all your dark values are so that the painting reads like it's supposed to read. Okay, let's move on to Waterlog. So Waterlog is the app where you import a painting and it converts it to a different style of watercolor. This is a photograph I took of the Louvre in Paris. I was walking across a bridge and I glanced over and I saw a rainbow. You know, at the end of the rainbow was the Louvre. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how symbolic is that? I was so excited, I almost dropped my phone. And everyone else was crossing the bridge. They were reading email, talking on the phone, chatting, doing whatever. And no one seemed to notice what this beautiful scene was. And I felt like grabbing everyone, look, you got to see this. It's so pretty. They probably would have carted me away. So there's a lot of different styles you can do. This is called, it's technical. It's kind of a line and wash, kinda. This is illustration. I really like how it's showing just a little faint double rainbow there. This is called soaked. So it's gonna look very wet on wet. That's really pretty. Okay, let me try another one. Let's see, let's try this scene here. So this is the painting that I did from Waterlog. I think I may have used this one. Yeah, I think that's the one I used. It's really helpful to see all the different styles of how you could do something. There's even one called Color Bloom. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's really pretty. Okay, so this is how it works. So when you get one that you think that, hey, I'd like to print that out and, you know, give it a try, and you would just hit the forward button and then save to photos, and it will save it. This is a fun one to play with. Okay, next, let's try Colorscape. So Colorscape will allow you to import a photograph, and it will create an outline for you. Let's do this one. So here's an outline of this scene, this photograph I took in Normandy, France. It was so beautiful going down this street, and there was this barn over here, the field over here. It was just gorgeous. So down here at the bottom, you've got 4 different versions. That was version 1, version 2, 3, and 4. If you want to change the line settings on any of these versions, you click change line setting. You can make the resolution higher, you can make it lower, you can make the lines thicker, detail, more detail, less detail, and then switch around and look at each of the versions. If this is the one you want, then you would click on done. And then it would save it right here, and then you can print it out from there. So I want to show you what else that Colorscape can do, and this is fun. It's you can create your own digital art. It really is a lot of fun to do. So let's see, it's got the outline here, and then you click on color, and you've got all these colors down here. So I'm going to see about doing a little painting here, little digital art. Get some green eyes going here. Make the brush size a little bit smaller. I'm using my finger and not my Apple pencil, which would have been easier to use. Do a little white for the little sparkle in the eye. Is that just too cute? Let's do a little pink nose here. A little highlight there. And you could do this whole thing like this and create your own digital art. It's just fun to play. It's like digital coloring book for adults, or actually kids too. It's just a really fun app. You can do your own art. You can import a picture, create an outline, and color it in if you want. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so let's go to Prisma. So Prisma, I've already imported this painting here this photograph that I took of the Louvre. It's just such a stunning photograph. And it's not Photoshop. That's how it looked. Got the real faint double rainbow over here. It was just so pretty. I took probably, I don't know, 50 pictures of this scene. It was so pretty. So down here at the bottom, there's just a lot of different options to choose from. And there's also a style library. It has 700 plus styles. So you can click on that and you can just see hundreds of other different styles. These are some styles that I really like, that are my favorites. So mosaic is one of them. So I don't know if you can see. I'll increase here so that you can see there's just a little mosaic here design. It's really, really pretty. Another one I like is this one, Frangipani. Look at that sky. Look at the water. Look, I mean, wouldn't you want to paint something like this? I would. It would be so pretty. Let's try this one. You can just, at least I can sit here for a long, long time going through these different options to see something that inspires me. Oh, I want to kind of paint it like that. Now, I'm not going to copy it identically. That's just not something I want to do, but it'll give me an idea of like, yeah, I want to use that style. I want to try it that way. Here's Gothic. Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I like that. It's a lot of fun. Oh, wow. That is powerful. Okay, so that is Prisma. So let's go to Trace Table. Oh, no. Photo Sketch. So Photo Sketch, that's one I use quite often. Let's go to, let's see. Let's do this one. You can crop it. If you wanted to change the composition, you could do it right here. I'm just going to leave it like that. And then you click on the little palette over here and you get all these different styles. You can get an outline-ish, get outline, different types. This one is kind of like the Notan where it's just all values and shapes. There's all different kinds of options here. Now, when you get over here, these fancy ones, that cost money. So I didn't subscribe to this. Oh, I really like that. That's really pretty. So if you wanted to upgrade the app, you could pay to get all the fancy stuff. To me, these are simple. It's a great outline. That's a lot of, there's a lot of busy there. I really like the Notan here. That's really pretty. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, Oilist. Okay, this one is really cool because this is an app where you can import a photograph and it creates an oil painting look based on a lot of different style choices. So let's see what I want to choose here. Let's choose these flowers. So you've got, like I said, a lot of different styles. You've got Van Gogh Spirals, Van Gogh Life, Escher, Monet. Oh, let's do the Van Gogh Passion. And you click on that. You get a choice between less abstract, sort of the middle, and then more. Let's do the middle. And then you watch it create in front of your eyes. It's really cool to watch. It's almost like meditating. And then you have color. So meditation and color. I mean, how good can it get? There should be some real Zen music right now. Okay, it's getting some details in there so that you see that, yeah, those are tulips. That is a glass. I like what it did with the background here, making these little red circles. That's really, really unique. So if this is one that you want to keep, I really like this. This is pretty. You can hit the plus mark and it'll save it over here. You can go back and get a different style if you want. One thing that's really interesting on this one is the gravity feature where you can click on the gravity, change it to manual, and then hold up your iPad or your device and you probably won't be able to see it because I'm having to hold it up, and the paint is just oozing down the page. It's really, really cool to see. So I will save that so you can see the comparison. So I'm going to go over here and click on the two that I have. So this was the first one. And then here you can see the paint's just, it's just streaking down the page. Is that just too cool? I just love this app. It's just a lot of... Okay, I'm going to select another one with this. Ooh, Simply Picasso. Let's do more abstract. Let's take it to the limit here. Like I said, I just love to watch it just appear. Okay, come on, Picasso. This is really pretty. Kind of makes me think of Matisse a little, with the outlines and the bold strokes. Wow, I really like that. I like what it did to the background. A lot of the times I'm getting ideas for a different painting, looking at something that this created. I'm like, wow, I want to use that background for something, because that's really, really unique. I like this one. That's really pretty. So let's say I wanted to, well, I saved it twice. I wanted to keep that one and print it out and take a look at it. I like how it handled the glass, the shadow, a little reflective of the green over here. That's really unique. Okay, so I want to keep it. I'm going to click on more and then save image, and it's going to save in my camera roll. I won't do another one even though I want to. Don't want to have you spend a lot of time. Okay, that's okay. The next thing I want to show you is trace table. So this is something that acts like a light box. So you can take, let's say I wanted to do that, the tulip. I'd import the photograph, and I'd click on lock, and it's going to lock the screen. You know, normally when you do an iPad, you can move things around. It's going to lock it so that you can take, where's my paper? So you can take, this is 140-pound paper, and you can kind of see through it good enough, especially for something with these bold lines. And you can take your pencil and trace it. Actually, for something like this, I would take an ink pen because I would want all this black to be here. So it's really a cool app. It's not going to work on 300-pound paper. It's just too thick, but it works pretty good. And it also, if you click on this little ghost thing, I think it's a ghost, I can't really tell, it converts your photograph to black and white, and you've got this slider bar to make it more light, more dark. You really don't need it for this painting. That's really pretty. Y'all may see this in the group soon because I really like that. Okay, so when I did this demo, a live demo yesterday, I had a question of how do you get a photograph or a printout on something larger than 8.5 by 11, just standard size paper. So there is a service that you can subscribe to, and it's rapidresizer.com, where you can import a photograph, which I imported my Notan with the 3 values, and you can set the width and the height, and you can print it. So if I wanted this to be 25 inches by 33, gosh, that's a big poster of me. I would not want that, but just use it as an example. What it's going to do is print, where you see these blue lines, these tiles, it's going to print these 12, no, there's 15 tiles here. and then they'll be numbered, and then you can tape them together, and then you've got your big 25-inch by 33 Notan of yours truly, me. It works really, really well. You can also take your photograph and send it to FedEx or Office Depot or any office supply place that does printing and pay for them to, hey, I want a 25 by 33 inch. But that would be kind of expensive if you used it too often. Whereas Rapid Resizer, I pay, and don't quote me, don't say, hey, Diane said this only cost about $25 a year, because they're gonna say, Diane who? They don't know me. And I'm not sure of the price, but it was very reasonable, and it's an annual subscription. I don't remember if they offer monthly, I just can't remember. But it's really worth it if you're going to do a lot of big art, to be able to get an easy way to get as big as you want. It's really, really cool. You can download it, you can email it. Like if you wanted to do this for someone else, you could just email them the PDF, they can print it out. It's such a great tool. The paper size, it's got the A3, A4, A5, all these different size. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I changed it to something, but let's see how big I can make it go. Hang on. Let's do it in feet. I want it 2 feet by, let's see, I'm just playing. Whoa, that's too large. I didn't mean to do 24 feet, jeez. Oh yeah, it's saying a printout of this size may be blocky. Okay, it's probably going to be pretty pixelated looking by the time it prints out that big. But anyway, you get the point. Okay, I think that's all that I was going to show you today. Man, I really want to paint that. I may have to paint that today. I hope this was beneficial, and I hope you find these apps are useful to you. Thanks, and thanks for watching, and hope everyone has a good day.